Hey, Father Taylor here again. It's Friday, March 12th. If I wasn't so busy, I got to tell you, I would have spent the entire day outdoors. It's about 60 degrees here in Tarrytown. The sun is out and you can just feel it. Man, it just feels like, wow, we are just ready to get a new start, which is partially what I want to talk to you today in today's very brief e-blast for this week. So greetings again. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're being safe. And we certainly hope that if you're able to get that vaccine, um, just for our own safety and for our church sake, we look forward to what that's going to mean and us being able to get back together very soon. With weather like this, we are very, as possible, we're going to start getting together. We have had two events so far, which I've been, we were focused on. It's going to be an outdoor event, and then the weather switched. 20 degrees can change. It can change 20 degrees in just a matter of 24 hours around here. Well, it's that anticipation I want to talk to you about. Um, it doesn't have to be COVID, a COVID year, but it certainly is more during this year of COVID that we have this anticipation of getting back to life, getting back to seeing one another. And for many of you, for getting back to church. It's just been a very, very long year. And you can see, you can feel it. You can feel it coming. We're very close. There's something which in the Christian circles, we use this word to describe that sense of anticipation and what we long for. And what we long for is renewal. Renewal. Renewal is more than re-upping, like renewing your subscription. Renewal has to do with feeling like you're being made new again, being made new. I didn't grow up in church, and when I came to know Jesus, it was a full conversion. And man, everything felt totally new. Just the way I looked at the world, the way I related to the world, the way I felt about myself. It was just like you'd been made alive again by coming to know Jesus. It wasn't something I produced in myself. It came from the Holy Spirit at work in my life. And that undoubtedly is why I ended up as a priest, because when I sensed a call to ministry, I thought, what could be better than helping people experience that sense of like new life? Some of you went to church before and maybe have grown up and gradually over time, your faith has increased. And others of you went to church or you went to mass and maybe you had an experience. You got involved in a small group or something else came along. And man, you had that same experience of renewal. Renewal is extremely powerful. Do you know how like when you just go outside after it's been, rainy and 35 for a couple of weeks and you go outside and it's 65 and the sun is shining on you, you feel like all things are possible. When God begins that work of renewal in us, it changes not just how we feel, like, oh, I feel much better, but it invigorates our sense of purpose and our will and makes worship come alive. It makes us feel very alive to God, and we're suddenly aware of each other and we're just filled with life. I believe that right now, I can't tell you what God is up to. I can't tell you what God's going to do in the end of this, but I know what I long for. I long for the experience of renewal. I'd give away the guitars. I mean, I've got some in this back room right here. You can see some chords hanging out. I mean, I'd give away things that like I found very valuable for a taste of renewal. And I'm sure you would too. I have some of my Holy Week pictures coming up here, Jesus on the cross depictions, but I also always keep this church lady up, this church lady who's there in church and she senses God's Holy Spirit. It's coming upon her no matter what her life has been about. And she is just open to it. That lady to me represents the experience when God touches your heart in renewal. We can't manufacture it because doesn't come from us. It comes from the Lord, particularly the Holy Spirit. But we can do the things that make it possible, that build the capacity, in a sense, to make the cup that can be filled. We can do some things for renewal. And with our anticipation, I believe there's some things that we can do as a church for renewal. We're coming up on Holy Week, just a couple of weeks away. I can hardly believe it. We have spent about 9 hours this week. I just spent like the entire afternoon working so hard with Paula and Carol and our deacon Denise, just working out the details of putting together worship services, never knowing if we're going to be able to meet outdoors or indoors or what, but just working hard on the basis that the service itself can be beautiful, but what it does is it opens us to the fullness of God's presence. And that's a kind of reason for renewal. This spring, after we have gone through Holy Week together, which I'm sure is going to be powerful and meaningful, after we prepare our hearts and lay them out, for the renewal that comes just by recognizing that Jesus has risen from the dead, we're going to be putting some things together, hopefully, to allow you and me and others and people who don't go to our church to come together in different ways, to create the means for being renewed by God's Holy Spirit. And as we work forward, I just had a conversation this morning with our Bishop Ian and talking about renewal and what we'd like to do here when his visit comes in June. And that is to have our whole church participate in a liturgical service, asking God and recognizing God's ability to give it, but asking God for renewal for each of us, renewal for a church to come back as a community, and renewal for our sense of joining Jesus in his mission in the world. So lots of anticipation. And hopefully I can talk about this in a way that you will begin to see what I'm seeing and feel what I'm feeling as we prepare for renewal. Now, change the subject. One of the things we do the first Sunday in Holy Week is called Palm Sunday. And you've had a tradition here for years at Trinity where people fold and make palm crosses. You probably have some. If you've been a member here for 10 years, you probably still have some that were made in past years. Now, here's something that's really interesting. Last year with COVID, one of our members, Bill Pascucci, he's married to Deb Necker, who owns, of course, Necker's Toy Store. What a landmark in our area. Last year, Bill, on his own, in addition to the other, he was our video guide. I mean, he kind of guided us on how to make them for a couple of years. But he folded on his own about 150 palm crosses and offered them to anyone who wanted them to come by Necker's, and they're out in a basket. He gave away almost, not quite 150, but he gave away 125 palm fronds and palm crosses to people that don't go to church. It's like people still have this memory, some of those folks, a memory of Palm Sundays in the past and the importance of that. And that little palm, it's kind of like Laird's crosses, right? So it's like Laird's crosses. Those just were so important for people. What an easy outreach. This year, we have ordered 400 palm fronds. And we don't have groups of people in Sunday school classes to fold them. But here's what's going to happen. We're going to get them in about another week. And Amanda is going to make a video so that each one of us can figure out if we don't know how to fold them. Different ministry groups are going to try to distribute them among their folks to be able to make some, but we need to make 400 palm crosses. Now, if you're a family, you could say, well, we could easily do this at home as a project. Bill points out that once you've made one or two, it takes you about 3-4 minutes to make another one. They really don't take long to make. Last year, the Malley kids got going on these palm crosses. We could hardly stop them. They were, they just like knocked out like 100 on their own. So this year, we need some help. We need some people to drive the palm fronds around to people who want to make palm crosses. We need some people simply to get that video, watch online, and to fold them, and be able to collect them all again. So I'm wondering, it's a very small thing. Would you like to make some palm crosses this year? I'd like to see us give away 400 of them. Maybe, some to our church, but I'd like us to see us give away lots of palm fronds. I'm wondering, are the folks at Meadowbrook able to receive them? I know we can't do our Meadowbrook ministry, but maybe they'd like to receive them. Maybe folks in your neighborhood would like to see them. What an easy gift to be able to say. It's like, hey, we're getting ready to celebrate Easter in a week. go ahead and take this poem cross. Very small thing, but maybe powerful. So if you can commit to making, I'll say at least 20, if you can make at least 20, do me a favor and call Carol at the office. Just call her up, leave a message right now. Say, hey, put me down for 20 or put me down for 30. Give her a call and let's see if we can give away lots of poem fronds, nicely folded, give them away to people who might really want them. That's an easy thing to do. It's not like a spectacular thing, but it's a pretty cool thing, to be able to do. So anyway, we have a lot getting ready to come up in the next week or so, and the weather's good. Tomorrow's back to 42. It's not as good, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So stay safe. The COVID bad stuff is still out there, but be safe because we are getting ready to be able to pull together again. Be safe. Continue to seek the Lord, and give us a call if you have questions or you just want to talk. So God bless you, and we'll see you in person real soon.